A little while ago, I got a few palettes from Juvia's place. If you want to see me swatch the Warrior and the Nomad palette, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and yes, we're going to be swatching Juvia's place today. 2 9-pan palettes from the brand, the Nomad palette that has been on my wish list for a while, and the Warrior 2 palette, which is my response to the desire for the Natasha Denona Gold palette. Apparently this is a gold lover's dream, and I'm going to find out just how great these gold shadows are. But we're going to start with the Nomad palette. It feels like fall is around the corner, and it feels like this is the one I want to swatch first. Now, if you are not familiar with packaging from Juvia's place, the neat thing is they put the plastic on the inside of the box, and I just find that that really protects the palette that's inside. And so this is what the palette looks like, and the inside of the palette looks like so. And to me, those are beautiful fall colors, and they give me all the vibes of this time of the year. So I'm looking forward to swatching this palette because I know that come September I will be using it a lot. So let's take a look. Now, these are smaller pans than the Warrior palette as far as I remember, but I guess we'll find out when we put them side by side. There are no names to these shadows, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a set of 3, 3, and 3 on the one arm, and then we'll put the Warrior 2 on the other arm, and then do a little bit of a comparison because that one is also golds and I think browns. So we're going to go straight into the top row, which is the row that is of most interest to me. I love yellows and greens, and it gives me subculture vibes, and subculture is one of my top few palettes in my collection, has been for quite a while. And the mattes in Juvia's Place, the Juvia's Place mattes I should say, they are a little bit gritty to the feel to me, but they do apply super, super well with a brush, so I have no complaints. But when you swatch them, at least when I did originally, it was kind of a weird feeling. Okay, so this yellow has some micro shimmer in it. That's interesting. And then that green. And it is a beautiful matte. So happy. Actually, these 3 match my eyeshadow look today, don't they? If you're curious, the eyeshadow look I have is was done with the Tiny Marvels from Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. I'll put that video right there for this look. And we're going to go with a second swatch on all of these because I just double swatch shadows. It's kind of nice to not have names to give you because you just enjoy the colors. You can just enjoy the colors. Don't have to have names to everything. I am good with that. Those are very pretty. I like all of them. I think that they did a great job on the saturation for this one, and this one pulls a little bit to the peach. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Different enough for there to be 2 of them. Okay, just wiped off the fingers, and we're going to go into this second row right here. And that one, I know that the second and third one in this row I'm going to like. I just know it. And yep, I am going to love it. That is super. Okay. This one, I have a lot of these types of oranges in my collection, so I'm okay with it. It's good for a transition color, I guess. This one I knew I would like. Kind of an old type of gold color. This one, I'm curious. Oh yeah. Okay. I love the color Gilded Ganache in the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and this is very similar. And that color looks so good on my eyes. It really brings out the green in my eyes, so I know I'm going to love this color. This is a nice trio, actually. It is. It's a nice trio. I really don't think they need a second swatch, but I will treat all of the colors the same. The gold does come out more on the second swatch. That's good. And that color, oh man. Just for that color, that palette was worth it. So right now, this one, and this one I really, really like. Because they bring something different to my collection. So I'm really quite pleased to have those few shadows right now. And then we've got the last row, and then we'll have a full view of that palette. Okay, and the last row, I would call them supporting characters. Great ways of increasing the usability of the first two rows. And they are all matte, so I've got a kind of a beigey peach matte, a chocolate brown matte, and then kind of a khaki color that I think would go well with that green. Khaki mustardy color. Those are really nice. And Juvia's Place is so affordable, and they have sales on a regular basis. So they're very approachable palettes for anyone. And of course, when you go with neutral tones, they're a lot less intimidating than some of their more colorful palettes. Okay, I'm really liking this one. Very, very much so. That is a very unique color. I'm very happy to have that color in my collection now. That's nice. That I like it more than I was expecting. That is super. Okay, and this is the last set of swatches. Okay, so these two, and I may have something very similar in the subculture by mixing two mattes together, probably something very similar there. This one, yes, Gilded Ganache, I will have to do a comparison with that Too Faced shadow, but I really, really like what it looks like. And then this one is also, I would say, unique to my collection. I don't think that I have a khaki mustard like that anywhere. So at least half the palette is something that is relatively unique to me, or just a good complement to what I have in my collection. So this was good. I was on the fence about getting the Nomad, but now that I have the swatches, if you cover up the orange, I really like the palette. I'm just not big on oranges and orangey browns. I just don't like them that much as a lid shade. I don't mind them as blushes or anything, but as a lid shade, I don't know. I think that I wore way too many fall type looks when I was a teenager, and I'm kind of like, I don't want those anymore. We all have our quirks. So here is one last look at the palette and the swatches. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this little 9-pan goodness. And let's go into the other palette that I chose to get in this order. And it is, as I mentioned, it is the original Warrior. I thought it was the Warrior 2, but no, it's the original Warrior. My apologies, I had it wrong. And it looks really, really great. And there are some definite, very rich tones in here. And it's definitely a standalone palette, a standalone neutral blingy palette. And we'll do the same thing as we did with the Nomad. We'll do 3 at a time, and of course on the other arm, and we'll do a comparison afterwards. So we've got, this one has names. Amina, Idea, or Idia, I'm not sure, and Mino. Mino is the only matte in that row. Okay. And I'm not going to say the names anymore because I'm going to butcher them, I know. I'm going to say this is the first row. Oh boy. That mat is a little bit crumbly, but it's okay. And look at those fingers. I'm going to go in one more time. Wow, that is beautiful. Pretty much just picking up the kick up. These really don't need a second swatch, but I'm just going to go with the norm. Just going to pat this down a little bit. And then the mat. That is a heck of a first row. That is super, super nice. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I don't often swoon on neutrals, but those are something. Okay. We have a softer middle row. I'm definitely interested in the first two. I think that's going to be my favorite of the three. Ahosi, Moremi, and Kano on that one. Ahosi, Moremi, that is pretty. Very pretty. And the last one is Kano. I'm going to go for a second go on those three. They don't show up as much, nearly as much as the first row, but it's a much softer row. Let's see how they show up on the second go. I'm hoping that this one shows up a lot more. And this one doesn't need any help, but we're giving it some anyway. It's pretty chunky though, I have to say. It's not as smooth as the other ones. Okay, so here is what those look like. I feel like re-swatching this one, it just doesn't seem to, I may not have picked up enough. Okay, that goes a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to wipe these fingers off. And we're going to go to the last row. Yeah, that middle finger was really chunky. And I picked up the same as I was picking up the other shadows, but it's really chunky. I'm not sure why. Moremi. Very, very chunky. Okay, so now we have Dahomey, Bakwa, and Benin. Nice. Benin was easy because that one is an African country, so I don't know if these are all places or not. Only Benin is familiar to me. And all three on the bottom are the same kind of metallic colors. And I will not try to say the names again. That is a rich brassy copper. They are very sticky, but that's great for the lid. I don't mind that at all. That is a nice gold. Yeah, that's a nice gold. And last one, Benin. And that is a heck of a chocolate brown. Okay, just going to tap those down. Okay, that is the first swatch on the third row. I'll go in one more time. One last time. This is the last set of swatches for this palette. Okay, here we go. And Binne. All right. Okay, well, I like a number of them. This one is a repeat in my collection, but I do really quite like this one. I think these two are no-brainers for the palette for transition and to soften and deepen up a look. I really like this one, and I do really like the bottom row. I think they did a really good job on that bottom row. And these two mattes, I really am enjoying them. Okay, I'm good with that. If I want an easy gold, metallic, rich brown look, I know that I can go to this palette, no question. And I do think that it's going to be quite complementary to the Nomad. So let's superimpose them and see what we get. Okay, so here we go. So the Nomad on top, because we swatched that one first, and then the Warrior on the bottom. I'm looking for overlap. And right now, do you see those two, the chocolate brown matte and the kind of beigey pink matte? Those look very similar in both palettes. And then the other one that looks very similar is that lighter orange on top and slightly deeper orange on the bottom, the matte, the fourth color in. So there are three colors, and this one too. This color right here is very much the same top and bottom. There's just a bit of a variation in color, but I don't think that it would show that much of a difference on the eye. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 9 colors are what I would call virtual duplicates between the two palettes. So that means that there are 5 colors for both palettes that are not duplicates or near duplicates. And for the price of Juvia's Place, especially I bought them on super sale, the fact that half the palette is duplication with the other that I just bought, I'm not mad at it because the pan size is great. I need to check how much per pan in here. Does it say? Okay, net weight, 32.4 grams. So that is a lot of product per pan. So the price of Juvia's Place is so affordable that even if half the palette is duplicated, it is still a good price for these two. And the duplicate shadows, for the most part, would be highly used shadows. So I'm very much okay with it. I like the color story of both. And if I were to pick one, if I could only have one, I would go with the Nomad, even though the Nomad has significantly fewer colors in it. Let me just open up both palettes here. You can see the difference between the two. So the Warrior is a significantly larger palette at 32.4 grams, and the Nomad has 18.9. But I would still pick this one just because of the fact that there is that khaki color and the olive green in it. I think it makes it more versatile for me. I like color. And then this one though, if I need a neutral everyday look with a little extra, this would be a good palette for me. It has everything I need to create a very, very nice, appropriate for any occasion type of look. So I'm very happy with these two. Let me know what your favorite is, and do you agree with my decision on this one being the best out of the two? I would love to hear. And with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the swatches, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.